Welcome back to the weekend wrap. No production, just my thoughts. As always, like and subscribe and share with any and anyone you think might appreciate it. I appreciate all of the views and everything. This one is going to be a very quick one. I know I say that every week, but this time I actually mean it because I haven't watched anything. The most I saw was about 6 rounds of Peter McGrail and Fran Mendoza. And then I think I ended up falling asleep and then waking up, I think, in round 9 or round 10 of Catrol Linares. And I haven't gone back to rewatch it yet. Now, I will do, obviously, at some point. I got the breakdown on Tuesday, so we'll kind of get into that. But I haven't seen anything of the boxer card, except the results. I know that Karis Artenstall got her first KO in a sick fight against Vanessa Bradford, and I think she's now the first person to actually KO Vanessa Bradford, so that stands her in good stead because Vanessa has had previous opponents such as Alicia Baumgardner, Michaela Mayer, Hyun Mi Choi, and none of them have dropped her and stopped her. Karis Artenstall has, so she's put down a good marker for herself there. I haven't seen the result of Green versus Gilly. I haven't seen it. My Skybox was playing up yesterday, so I wasn't able to kind of get the to sort of watch those fights. They're probably on the box now, so I'll have to check those out later. I know that Joe Law's got the upset victory over Michael Hennessy Jr. I'm not surprised, to be totally honest. From what I heard, it was a pretty good fight. There was toe-to-toe pretty much the entire time. So again, it's something I'll go back and review at a later date. What else was there? I did see a couple of the highlights for Mikhail Lawal versus Isaac Chamberlain, and I've got to say congrats to Isaac. I did think he would I thought he would sort of get the victory. I thought he'd get a stoppage late in the fight. From the highlights that they put up on Sky Sports Boxing, it looked as if Isaac basically dominated and controlled the entire fight. I haven't seen the scorecards, but the highlights they put up made it look like it was a 120-108 type fight. So I'm definitely going to be keen to watch that. Big respect to Isaac, though. He's he's done it. He's had to do it the hard way. He's had to sort of graft, taken some unfortunate losses before, but I knew he was levels above Mikhail Lawal, and obviously that experience and everything showed now. And interestingly enough, Vidal O'Reilly wants the shot next. So whenever that'll probably be, I would assume maybe April next year. He said he thinks he's torn a bit of his biceps, so he might have to take some time to heal that. But yeah, Vidal O'Reilly, English champion, Isaac, British and Commonwealth. That does seem like the next step, next natural progression at cruiserweight, and I'd be interested to watch that, most definitely. Moving over to the DAZN and Matchroom card. As I said, I saw nothing of this apart from the demolition jobs of William Crawler. So big up to him. I liked his fight. That was quite entertaining, and it was 1 round. So pretty much I saw the highlights and you saw the whole thing. And then Jack Turner, very sort of wild and crude in the ring, but overwhelming his opponent. So it was the black guy, I can't remember his name at this point. But yeah, just overwhelmed him. Kept his shape fairly well, but he did get a bit wild at times. But yeah, on the debut, it was a good debut, good statement performance. Can't really say too much more about that. Like I said, Peter McGrail and Fran Mendoza, from what I saw, it looked like it was a very good test for Peter McGrail. Mendoza was switching between orthodox and southpaw at times. They were both exchanging fairly good punches. And I still don't quite, I think I know who won, but I don't know who won for sure because, again, I fell asleep. I didn't see Akib Fiaz versus Reece Bellotti, but I did think that Reece Bellotti would win. I was expecting him to go either take him the distance or get a very, very late stoppage, but I think it got stopped in like round 7, I think, or round 8. I mean, Reece Bellotti moves on. Fiaz has to rebuild. I knew that Aqib Fiaz was going to be in problems when he's 12-0 with 1 KO, which means that unless he's got the biggest of gas tanks or he's got enough keep you off of him power, he's going to get eventually just found out by someone that's just relentless with a good punch, and clearly that's what happened. So yeah, back to the drawing board for him. I don't see huge things in his future. I never really have, if I'm honest, but we'll wait and see. Now, that's pretty much everything that happened in the UK. Now, I actually did see the majority of the Golden Boy Promotions card, which was headlined by Alexis Rocha versus Giovani Santillan. Now, that was a good card. I saw everything basically from Aureli Massinho against Gabriela Fundora, and I did pick Fundora to win, but I thought she'd win by sort of like a very wide points decision. No, Gabriela decided to rip up the script. It was a dominant performance. It was 5 rounds, I think, 5 or 6 rounds. She knocked, she knocked out Aureli Massinho, first woman to do that. When the crazy thing is, obviously, you look and Gabriela Fundora fighting at flyweight, just like her brother Sebastian, they're in weights, so you don't know how they make the weights with the size they are. She's like 5'9", in the ring at 112 pounds. I'm definitely thinking when she, rehydrated, she must have been at least like 120, 126. She could quite comfortably go up the weight classes, I think at least to super feather. At her height, and even though she's got a quite slender frame, like she can build into the weights moving up. I can see her at 112. I think she's now become the apex predator. So you've got girls over here like sort of Maisie Rose and Chloe Watson. Yeah, they are not seeing her. Marlene Esparza, she's about to lose all her belts to Gabriela Fundora. So I would not be surprised if Golden Boy Promotions have now basically snapped her up and have her on a co-promotional deal with Samson Lukovic, because it makes absolutely no sense not to have her in your stable. She's going to run roughshod. And when she goes to Superfly, there's going to be issues there as well. Obviously, my girl Shannon Ryan is at Superfly, and if anyone can probably figure out the puzzle, it might be Shannon. But like, Gabriela's got power and she's got a tremendous jab, and she knows how to fight at range and keep distance. That's going to be a problem for a lot of those girls up until she gets to, like, I would say super bantam, when the girls start becoming a bit taller, more 5'6", 5'7" type heights, and then obviously like featherweight, super feather, when you can get 5'8" and 5'9" and other possible 5'10" girls. But at the weight that she's at right now, I can't see anyone taking her down, so people need to stay clear. And if she gets all the belts, maybe you don't take those mandatory, you wait for her just to outgrow the weight and move up. That's how I would see it at this moment in time. Obviously, look, things can happen, you game plan for these people, but when you just look at someone that's got every single advantage over the others, she punches correctly, she's got, like I said, a strong jab, a strong backhand, she's fundamentally sound, and she knows how to fight at range. And if need be, she can use her height and reach to sort of, tussle and grapple on the inside when necessary. So, yeah, she's a long night's work for anyone that comes across. I saw the Sandoval versus Sandoval fight as well. That was a nice, fun scrap. It's the only fight on that card that went the distance. It was 10 rounds, but it was 10 rounds of action, pure fire. And then it was a Scrappy Ramirez against Ronald Batista. I did pick Ramirez to get the KO, and I think he did knock out Batista, I think in round 6 of that fight. I think it was a 10 rounder. I think he got him out in the 5th or the 6th round. He called out Kazuto Ioka afterwards, says he's the WBA, I think, Intercontinental or International Champion. I think he's probably number 2 or in the rankings, or number 1, but he's got enough of the Segway belts to push that mandatory shot. So yeah, that could end up being Ayoka's next contest. That would be a very interesting scrap, because Scrappy is very much, he likes to sit in the pocket, but he's got power, both hands. dangerous guy. So that would be interesting. Now, the one fight of the weekend that I got wrong in terms of predictions, I'm not just talking about basis picks, I think also in my predictions league, Alexis Rocha and Giovani Santillan. Like, I did not expect Rocha to get knocked out in the 6th round. And yes, he got beat up and battered from round 1 all the way to round 6. Now, I didn't expect that, especially being the fact that Rocha is like a much bigger guy naturally. Like, Santillan's come up from, he was a smaller 140 pounder before. I think he even campaigned as low as 135 previously, and he hasn't had a knockout in almost 5 years. So I knew that he would have work rate, and I thought that he would push Rocha hard on the work rate, but I felt that Rocha would just basically do enough and just outpoint him, outstrong him, outman him, and get through, sort of take it to the later rounds and get that decision victory. I did not expect him to get beat up and battered from round 1. It was an amazing fight to watch for the 6 rounds, but just the adjustment. He's like, well, if you're going to sit in the pocket with me, this is where I'm going to be comfortable. And when you look at the two of them at the end of it, like, Rocha's, his nose is all bloody, his eyes is busted up, he's a mess. He was a mess from round 1. And Santillan barely looked like he'd been in a scrap. He had like a couple of red marks on his left cheek, and that was pretty much about it. He looked like he could have got back in the ring and done another 12 rounds. But yeah, I've never seen Alexis Rocha get beat up and dominated like that. Even in the match he lost against Rashidi Ellis, like, it still wasn't, some mad domination. I think it was a split decision loss. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where he goes from here, because I thought that they were just trying to keep him busy until those 147 belts fragment and he gets a crack at a vacant title. Not anymore, unless they do the rematch and he sort of has to get some get back from Santillan. I don't know what he does moving forward. I mean, obviously it's not the end of his career or anything, nowhere near, but this is a massive derailment for him and Golden Boy, because he was one of the stars that they had left. It was him, Virgil Ortiz, and I guess Zurdo Ramirez. That's pretty much all they've got left in terms of the men. Oh, and the Jaime Munguia. And then obviously they had Marlon Esparza in the female ranks. Hopefully now, if they've got Gabriela Fundora, then that's another ace in the hole for them down at those lower weights. But yeah, the stable's starting to thin out a bit. They got a couple of good people on the up and up, but yeah, their quote unquote stars are starting to they're starting to unravel a bit. So now we've got to see what Ryan Garcia can do against Masita Hester on the 2nd of December. But yeah, look, that's pretty much everything. Again, I'm sorry I can't be more comprehensive. I will obviously have to do that for a breakdown. But yeah, I haven't seen much, and I haven't really been in the mood to watch much, if I'm real. I think the whole Boatsi Aziz not happening kind of took a bit of a wind out of my sails this week. But with that being said, I'm going to leave it there. Nice and short for this one. I hope everyone's had a good weekend. Leave a comments down below for any of the fights you did see, or any ones that sort of took your fancy. I'll definitely make sure I'll tune in and watch those sometime in the next couple of days. But with that being said, I'm going to leave it there. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Enjoy your evenings, and I will catch you on the next one. Peace.